Welcome back to part 2 of What If Ahsoka Had a Fair Trial. Thank you to all of you who watched the first part of this video. To recap what happened in that episode in the event you haven't seen it, Anakin had intervened to stop Ahsoka's expulsion from the Jedi Order and her subsequent trial in front of a tribunal as he had captured Barriss. But after Ahsoka tried to speak to the traitorous Jedi, Barriss was attacked and disappeared with the help of a mysterious Sith. Now an incoming transmission from Dooku could hold the answers that they wanted. Allowing the clone officer to activate the holographic recording, the Jedi are shocked to see Dooku holding their former Jedi Knight Barriss Offee in a force cage and repeatedly shocking her. The Sith had no intention of killing her, but rather plans for making her his new apprentice, after his master brutally cut his ties to Asajj Ventress, and the Jedi debate on whether or not they should mount a rescue. Most of the council are in agreement that Barriss should first be tried in absentia by the Republic Military Tribunal, and providing evidence for the missing Jedi, Palpatine pronounces her execution. The Jedi have no choice but to leave her with Dooku, but this did not comfort Ahsoka, who felt somewhat apologetic for Barriss, despite her betrayal. Her master could sense this as well, and making his own interpretation of the Council's instructions again, he and his former Padawan decided to try and track down the Sith and his new apprentice. But on their journey to Separatist airspace, they receive an urgent order from Grandmaster Yoda that their assistance was needed on the space station of Ringo Vinda. This detour was not unwelcome for the Jedi, as they realised that Admiral Trench could be used to try and find the Sith, so rather than join the Jedi Masters, the Jedi Knights decide to launch a daring attack on the Admiral's command centre from the skies. Alongside a squadron of ARC-170 starfighters, the Jedi manage to strike through the rigorous Separatist defences, but they are suddenly ordered back to their command post after the unexpected death of Jedi Master Tiplar. Anakin and Ahsoka knew that they could not lose the advantage that they had gained, and Anakin decided to continue his own attack, punching a hole through the Hyena-class droid bombers, until he found a small landing spot in the command centre. The scuttling sound of Admiral Trench could be heard faintly, and the Jedi Knight needed no invitation to order the 501st Legion to take the base, as he went after the naval commander. Dismissing the surrounding droids with a force push, he placed his lightsaber at the neck of Trench, until he heard a number of clone troopers being obliterated by a chain of explosions. Trench thought he had gotten away from the wrath of Anakin, but holding back the incoming chain of detonations, he dragged the Admiral onto a passing Republic gunship and obtained all of the data he could before the entire station exploded. In the ensuing chaos, Trench managed to press a button on one of his many cybernetic limbs, transmitting a signal to Dooku that he was in danger, and the Separatist leader discusses what should be done with him with the help of Darth Sidious. The Dark Lord of the Sith realises that Trench was aware of some of their plans, and decided that the Admiral must be brought back into the hands of the Sith, dead or alive. Aware that only Anakin would be capable of such a plan to defeat the naval commander, Palpatine decided to use his close connection to the Jedi Knight, and whilst he was on his way back to a Republic rendezvous point, the Supreme Chancellor informed Anakin that he wished to speak to him in his office. Anakin does not resist the chance to speak to his mentor, and asking Ahsoka to take Trench, he travelled down to the surface of Coruscant. Upon the unexpected departure of her master, the new Jedi Knight could sense danger in the Force, and her gunship is rocked by a fearsome blast from a Separatist fleet. Ordering the clone pilot to make the jump into hyperspace, she was met by silence, and she cut through to the cockpit to find the pilot had been struck by a precise shot through the window. Taking control of the ship, she had little time before the cabin completely depressurized, and using a Jedi technique known as breath control, it allowed Ahsoka to slide into the hangar of the Separatist dreadnought. The Jedi Knight was pinned beneath the wreckage and could not remove it with the Force, so spluttered to R2-D2 to return to Coruscant with the data chip and asked for help from the Jedi Council. The trusty astromech was used to such demanding requests from Anakin, and taking control of a BTLB Y-wing bomber that had fortunately landed beside the gunship, R2-D2 flew back to the Jedi Temple. Back aboard Dooku's dreadnought, Ahsoka continued to struggle as more pieces of the ship stacked on top of her, when she heard a terrifying voice that was laced with darkness. Craning her neck at an abnormal angle, the Jedi Knight turned around to see the masked form of Barriss Offee. The former Jedi regarded Ahsoka as fortunate that Dooku wanted her alive, and summoning a group of battle droids to revive Admiral Trench, Barriss took Ahsoka to the observation deck of the ship, where Dooku was waiting. Little did Ahsoka know, this was only a sample of the horror she would soon be faced with. That is it for part 2 of What If Ahsoka Had a Fair Trial. If you'd like to see a part 3 soon, please like this video, turn on the notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.